Buildings store time, not metaphorically, literally. Labor, material, energy, hours, days, years, lived experiences, memories, all embedded in matter. A town is a distribution of that time, laid out as structures, routines, patterns, spaces, and repetitions. It takes decades to build and hours to erase. Rafah was a town, not symbolic, not exceptional. Real. It was cut in half in 1982. One side placed under Israeli occupation, the other under Egyptian control. Same streets, 2 clocks. What followed was a slow cancellation. Today, both sides of Rafah are gone. The Gaza side leveled by bombardment. The Egyptian side bulldozed for what is officially called a buffer zone. A buffer between what's being protected, and from whom. And why here? Why now? At the Rafah crossing, people wait, but time doesn't stop. The food in the aid truck still rots. The body in line still ages. The child waiting at the gate grows older, without moving. This isn't a delay, it's extraction. The border doesn't just control where you go, it controls when and if you go. Waiting becomes a form of subjugation. Time is no longer yours. Time and territory are not separate. They are polarities on the same continuum. To occupy space is to occupy time. We're taught that time is neutral and that territory is just space. That's wrong. Time is organized. Territory is distributed. Both are enforced. In Cairo, the new administrative capital is built fast. Offices, housing, ministries, completed in months. Meanwhile, the old city waits. Buildings decay, services stall. Time accelerates for some. It slows down or freezes for others. In Lagos, Eko Atlantic is built on reclaimed land. Inside the fence, investment, speed, marketing. Outside, flooding, displacement, waiting. The line between inclusion and exclusion is drawn in both space and tempo. This division is not new. Colonial administrations built cities this way, segregated by class, by pace, by purpose. British authorities in Nairobi designated so-called native zones far from roads, water, and trade. White districts were paved, lit, connected. Others were not. In Algiers, the French targeted the Kasbah, its dense streets seen as ungovernable. They demolished entire sections to impose houseman-style grids, not for function, but for visibility and control. Colonial regimes understood this well. To mark territory, install a marker of time, a clock on a tower, a bell in a church, a curfew in a law. In Khartoum, Anglo-Egyptian rulers divided the city into 3 zones: administration, commerce, and native housing, each with its own permissions, each with its own schedule. Urban planning was never neutral. It was designed to regulate labor, split populations, and impose foreign timelines. Every railway was a timeline of extraction, every zoning code a manual for delay. Speed isn't just a tool, it's a value. It signals power. Who can move, who can build, who can skip the queue? It says, we don't need to ask, we don't need to wait, we don't need to explain. That's why the powerful love speed, because it bypasses resistance, because it looks like inevitability, because it makes force feel like momentum. The truth is, Most so-called modern projects are designed to move faster than their consequences, faster than accountability, faster than memory. And they rely on architects to make it legible, desirable, clean. You can call it progress, but if it moves too fast to be questioned, too fast to be refused, then it's not architecture, it's enforcement. Design appears neutral. It speaks in diagrams, in metrics, in soft generalities. It rarely names what it's actually enabling. But once the drawing is submitted, the process begins. And what's built is not just a structure, it's a schedule, it's a set of permissions, it's a fixed version of who gets to be where and when. Control doesn't need tanks, it has paperwork, it has permits, it has deadlines that only move in one direction. Zoning codes, master plans, heritage overlays. These are not neutral instruments, they are tools of filtration. Want to slow a neighborhood down, make repair illegal without permission. Want to accelerate investment, fast track it, stamp it, protect it with architectural prestige. Delay becomes a gate, forms become walls, and denial hides behind language. This is where the architect thrives, in the paperwork, in the plausible deniability, in the fiction that design is apolitical. By the time the demolition permit is signed, the displacement already happened, the map already shifted, the community already faded from relevance. But the rendering looks fantastic, polished, green, sustainable. The architect will win an award for it, then move on. Heritage is not preservation. It's a system of recognition. It decides which spaces are allowed to hold time and which can be cleared without consequence. In Oxford, heritage is a modern invention, a curated stillness. What you see is not just age, but the performance of age, time arranged to suggest continuity, stonework used to signal legitimacy. The city is protected not because it's old, but because its appearance of being old serves a political function. It makes the present look permanent. In Cairo, age means nothing without registration. 1,000-year-old structure can be demolished and paved over if it was never listed in the right file or photographed in the right report. No document, no protection, no recognition, no consequence. Heritage becomes a tool of classification. It assigns value to space by deciding which histories are official and which are irrelevant. It doesn't protect time. It controls how time is allowed to appear. These decisions are made by people with no long view, government employees, short-term consultants, arbitrary experts, manage in places older than the institutions they work for. 1,000 years reduced to a missing form, a bad appointment becomes an erasure. History doesn't disappear on its own. It's erased by omission, by delay, by mismanagement, by treating memory as paperwork. In Oxford, time is institutional. In Cairo, it's provisional. And what isn't recognized can be removed. Nothing disappears on its own. What gets erased is made erasable first, through delay, through neglect, through design. Architecture makes it look planned, policy makes it sound justified, and time is used to make it irreversible. Rafah went on time. According to schedules not made public, and plans no one will ever claim. It's not just about where people are, it's about when they're allowed to be there. Who moves, who waits, who stays long enough to belong. That's the continuum. Territory controls time. Time protects territory. Together they decide what's possible and what can be removed without a trace.